Oh, right. And in 17 days, if I can math, we're going to have the Christmas episode, which is promising to be a fairly big episode, either for good or for bad, in the whole history of the Doctor Who mythos. But while we're speculating on future things, unless you had anything else to bring up about the 50th, Tim.
Okay, now is my time. Okay, so I really see the future of Doctor Who going in two ways, and the Christmas episode's really going to be telling of which way they're going to take. And bear in mind that these are just my theories; these are in no way fucking possible. At least I really hope they're not, because they're insane. They're both very well. One's more insane than the other. The first idea is that the teasers said that they were going to Trenzalore for the Christmas special, which basically means they're heading to where it's already been established is going to be the Doctor's grave, which means essentially what happens is, and this goes against my first theory where it's like, oh, they just find Gallifrey and the Doctor gets his regenerations extended and we're all happy because he turns into Peter Capaldi and hooray, but the only problem is you don't really get to watch the adventure. You don't really get a big adventure of finding where Gallifrey went. He just finds it right off. But because Metacrisis Doctor and there's the War Doctor, all the regenerations are there, which means he's in a lot of trouble of having a real death. Unless they go to Trenzalore, where he dies, and then 10-2 appears, aged into Peter Capaldi, with the TARDIS, and that's our new Doctor.
So David Tennant, old David Tennant, is Peter Capaldi.
See, looking at Peter Capaldi, I can kind of see it. That's the scary part about it.
Well, I mean, then you have the problem of Peter Capaldi. The Metacrisis Doctor has no regenerations.
Unless Gallifrey gives them to him in some convoluted way when he finds them, because that would be the reason for 10-2 to come back, is to find Gallifrey.
Can they give him regenerations, though? Because he's not really a Time Lord.
Ooh, that's...
He doesn't have the right physiology.
That could be.
Haven't they had confusing situations like that before with like River Swan, River Pond?
Song.
What's her name?
River Song.
She, yeah. They try to explain like the reason Time Lords are the way they are is because they were born exposure to the time vortex, and because she was conceived in the TARDIS, she basically became a Time Lord through exposure.
And also, and if that's the thing they're going with, and the fact that he's that old and flying around in the TARDIS, then he could be exposed to the... Well, no, the time vortex is on Gallifrey, isn't it? What is that? Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. The thing they have to look at when they're 8.
Yeah, the thing that the Master blamed for... Yeah, the thing the Master blamed for the rhythm in his head. It was actually put in there by some dick.
What was that one? Like I say, I'm not really a fan of the series, but I know bits and bobs. There was one regeneration where, from one of the old movies, where there's a second Doctor and he goes into the other Doctor to regenerate, which sounds more porny than I intended.
Are you talking about Tom Baker and the Valyard?
I guess. I know Phaelus did a parody of it at one point with his Doctor Who regeneration stuff.
Yeah, the Fourth Doctor needed assistance from one of, I guess, his future regenerations, who went by the Valyard, to turn into Peter Davison. I'm not entirely clear on how that worked. If anyone's entirely clear on how that worked.
No. No. I wanted to see the modern version of the Valyard doing the Valyard things, but, I may be sourly disappointed with that.
And the other thing is, Matt Smith meets Tom Baker, who more or less confirms that he's going to get a lot more regenerations because he's going to start revisiting old regenerations.
That
Yeah.
implied to me that maybe he finds a way to just change himself, like just go rather than regenerating. I guess like regenerating backwards, but not necessarily via the same means. It sounded like a choice rather than say he died and he became someone else. And maybe it could just be that he finds a way to change himself. Or he could be going around in a robot body again. As a little tiny man.
There we go, cracked the case.
Yeah.
What was your second theory?
Oh, well, my second theory was just the less interesting one. I actually said them both at the same time. The second one was the one where they just find Gallifrey and, the Doctor dies somehow, but he's granted more regenerations to be saved, and that's how we get Pete Capaldi. But, I really don't think they would blow it that quickly where he finds Gallifrey during the Christmas episode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're. I mean, either the new Doctor's going to be it for a long time, or they're just going to decide somewhere down the line. Oh, actually, he can regenerate more than we said, because they've got a franchise to look after.
I have to say, it's highly unlikely, but the idea occurred to me, Moffat just killing the Doctor for real, just as a middle finger to everyone.
I don't think he would do that to his cash cow. I honestly, though, he did that to Sherlock, but he's bringing Sherlock back, so. But him and Matt Smith have both been on record mentioning many regenerations, and I'm not just talking about the joke where 11 says 507. I'm talking about like recent things where. I think it was like a pre-show or something for the 50th anniversary where Matt Smith's Doctor appears and says something about how he just jetted forward to see the 100th, and it was like all 47 of us. And then I've also seen Moffat mention something about, all these different iterations of the Doctor that'll continue on. So I think they're just going to disregard the limit. I think I've overthought it a lot.
Well, they probably have an explanation, because in the 50th, when they had all the Doctors around the planet, the Gallifrey guy did say all 13.
Yeah.
So they probably have some sort of catch along the line.
Well, my thing is when the 11th Doctor first meets River, when she first meets the Doctor, I guess, and she tries to kill him, and she's like poisoned him, and he stumbles into the TARDIS, and he goes, "Oh, I'll just regenerate." I'm like, so he was under the impression he could regenerate still?
That wasn't the first time the Doctor met River.
It was the first time River met the Doctor, though. On her.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. I was gonna say that's the first time the Doctor meets River. Oh my God.
You're talking about the Science of the Library.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked those episodes because they were Stephen Moffat writing, but he had to answer to Russell T Davies.
Yeah. Oh my God, but that's still a thing for me. It's like, oh, the first time he meets River, his future wife, is when she fucking dies. Oh, good.
Hilarious.
Moffat!
Well, I just found it infinitely sadder, the whole, like, when Donna Noble's in the virtual world thing.
Yeah.
Married to the, like, stuttering guy, and, like, he's trying to call out to her before she teleports away, but because of his speech impediment, can't get it out. It's like, oh, God, why?
Yeah.
I also didn't like how in the 50th they called back to David Tennant's last line.
Oh, yeah, that was shameless. That was fucking shameless. I was so angry at that.
I don't know, because even David Tennant was pissed off at the line originally. He didn't think the Doctor should have ever said that.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Doctor should be, like, more stoic and more heroic about it.
You know, that's kind of funny because, like, everybody's like, oh, this really is everybody now. This is a lot of people trying to tell me, oh, well, David Tennant insisted on having that line because he really didn't want to go. It's like, are you fucking shitting me? No, they write scripts. Come on. You think all these actors run on set and are just like, oh, I'm gonna say what I want and they're gonna use it because I'm everybody's favorite.
It was one of those cases where, because it was a bit of more Russell T Davies speaking through the Doctor than, say, David Tennant speaking through him, because it was the last.
I saw an interview with Moffat where he said that he wanted to tug at people's heartstrings with that line.
Well, of course he does. That's what he does.
He tries to make you feel sad or afraid at all times. And
Yeah, especially.
it works.
Oh my god, his handling of the Doctor in that regard pisses me off. Especially now that he's trying to, like, clean the slate. Because the entire time he was in control, the Doctor was always the worst thing to happen to the universe. The Doctor's gonna do this, and it's gonna destroy everything. The Doctor's at fault for everything. And then they just wipe the slate clean. It's like, hey, remember all that shit you did that caused you all that great regret and remorse and whatnot? It's gone. Moffat. Fucking prick.
I'm talking about just like the retcon of his destroying Gallifrey in general.
Yeah.
Well, they've
Yeah,
made it clear that it's still something he thinks he's done, at least. Because I'm guessing it did happen originally, and then they've rewritten it. Or unless it's just destined to happen that way anyway, and that's just time for you.
No, it's he had always frozen Gallifrey, but because time was out of sync and he was meeting himself at the time he did it, he didn't remember saving Gallifrey. All he remembered was stealing the weapon and talking to the interface, who said, well, the price is that you have to survive.
So wait, what? It was.
John Hurt, through Matt Smith up till the 50th, all thought that they had destroyed Gallifrey and the Daleks. They hadn't, but like they explained at the end, John Hurt's like, I won't remember any of this, will I? And Matt Smith goes, well, time's out of sync, so no, you can't retain any of it.
So it's a thing that has always happened, but he thought.
Because this is what I took from it anyway, was that the last thing that Doctor would have been able to retain was stealing the weapon and the
Gallifrey not being there.
Yeah, and the Rose interface being like, well, if you blow this up, then your punishment is you have to survive to remember it.
See, I'm glad initially I didn't get that out of that, because if I did, I would have been even more angry.
The Doctor never did it this whole time.
Then why the fuck was the Doctor villainized the entire goddamn time he was Matt Smith? Oh, fucking Moffat.
And the only thing about it that I found, I don't know, I thought it was a really heavy line when they were like, did you know how many children were on Gallifrey? Like, just kidding, you didn't actually do it.
See, it's enough when he doesn't respect anybody else's continuity or anybody else's logic, but whenever he puts one up the bum of his own, like the Angels, oh my god, what else is he gonna do to those fucking things?
I actually thought that's where they were going with the statues in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too, actually. It's just like, it's all the statues, oh shit!
Although that would be a good way to stop them, I guess. Actually, I can't remember. It's when you're not looking at them, so if you're there under a sheet, they just look like a guy running around as a ghost.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. They just put a sheet over themselves, would they...
Great!
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be able to see where they're going, I guess. If that's how they see. I don't know how they work, they're statues, so...